Douglas, then you'll have a real problem. We've got a few vans and Douglas is just busy sorting the thing out, and we'll have to split them up, and where do we normally they go and follow one another, or sometimes leapfrog. They're going to disappear, not see one another until the lunch stop. And then we'll have 2 chase cars, one with each van as well, just to back them up and just see if there's any problems.
Cape-based Cindy Harding is one of a number of women co-drivers who bring a touch of glamour to the national rally scene. And after a tough day, cooped up in a rally car, Harding unwinds by pounding the pavements, with the 2000 mountain trial now moving to the mountain areas around Barkly East and Lady Grey, with day 2 set to provide plenty of drama. Rallying finally got around to taking a leaf out of the off-road racing book, and sunrise over the mountains in Barkly East signalled an early morning start for crews. In that part of South Africa, it tends to get a little chilly in the mornings, and local entrepreneurs did a roaring trade, dishing out welcome cups of hot coffee. Ahead of crews lay a demanding day, with co-drivers in particular in for an interesting time in the mountains.
I think it's a navigator's nightmares, but you know, we're running on pace now, so the whole crew's busy in the car all the time, so I think it's pretty fast, and one's got to be quite wide awake.
We did this event last year for the first time. It was an eye-opener last year, so let's hope we can do it properly this time.
The final countdown to the start of day 2 with Cindy Harding in cheerful mood. Rallies are run to strict time schedules with a convoy of cars lined up at the start control, ready to set off for the first special stage of the day. At just over 42 kilometres, Special Stage 5 was the longest of the rally and was to get the day off to a highly dramatic start.
Medium left over dip. Into turn, medium left, caution, keep tight.
Rally leaders Jan Habak and Doug Judd hard at work, with Judd calling out instructions off pace notes. Back at the start of the special stage, Chart van der Walt and Cindy Harding were under starters' orders with race cam action from the Sasol VW Golf, providing this armchair view of characteristic mountain trial rallying. The event is run over good condition public roads that are closed to normal traffic and is a high-speed affair. Sheer drop-offs, blind rises and sharp changes in elevation require an iron nerve and total concentration from driver and co-driver. Cars started the special stage at 2-minute intervals, and ahead of Etienne Lawrence and Robert Paisley, the dealer team Toyota pair of Serge Damso and Guy Hodgson had already built up a head of steam. Damso is a multiple former winner of the mountain trial, and Hodgson must be one of the few co-drivers who enjoys the unique challenges the event offers. The immediate target for Damso and Hodgson was to haul in Van der Walt and Harding, but up ahead of the Toyota crew, drama was unfolding at the end of the special stage. The drama centered around Jan Habak and Doug Judd, who were suddenly in serious trouble. During the special stage, the Sasol VW Golf burst the fuel line, and the car caught fire at the final control. The blaze was quickly extinguished, and there was frantic activity around the car as service crew set about assessing and repairing the damage.
2Ks from the end, it started having fuel surges. Obviously, it leaked all the fuel out, and as we stopped at the flying finish, it started burning. But we're lucky to extinguish the thing, and it looks okay so far.
Chart van der Walt and Cindy Harding also lost time, and Toyota crew Serge Damso and Guy Hodgson and Etienne Lawrence and Robert Paisley were still in the running. The rally was suddenly alive with interest, with Guy Hodgson in animated mood as other co-drivers meticulously checked stage times with each other. On the 2000 mountain trial, and rally leaders Jan Habak and Douglas Judd were fairly belting along again, with the Sasol VW Golf appearing to be none the worse for wear after the trials and tribulations of the previous special stage. Habak and Judd started the day with a 22-second lead over teammates Van der Walt and Harding, and a 39-second advantage over Serge Damso and Guy Hodgson. The Sasol VW crew dropped 5 seconds to Damso and Hodgson on stage 5, but at this point were still in control of proceedings. The dealer team Toyota pair of Damso and Hodgson were always looking to make up time on Chart van der Walt and Cindy Harding in the mountain stages, and stage 5 saw them turn an overnight deficit of 10 seconds into a 16-second advantage. In straight-line speed, there's not much in it between the Class A8 Golfs and the Class A6 Toyota Corollas, but more torque out of tighter corners and on long gradients provides the VWs with the distinct advantage. Etienne Lawrence and Robert Paisley produced a stunning special stage 6. They took 4 seconds off both Habak and Judd and Van der Walt and Harding, and were 13 seconds quicker than Damso and Hodgson. Van der Walt and Harding were a little under the whip, while Johnny Gemmel and Errol Finnis were starting to walk away with Class A7 in the Nissan Sentra. Behind them, Hannes Hrobler and Brian Duncan were comfortably ahead in the Group N category, and in Class N3, with the pair locked in battle with Gemmel and Finnis and Jean-Pierre Damso and Johan Klaassen. The younger Damso and Klaassen were having another good outing in the team total Toyota Corolla, and solidly entrenched in the top 10 were Barry Hrobler and Mike Burrows in the third Class A8 VW Golf. Tony Ball and Marty Olivier were chasing Gemmell and Finnis in Class A7, along with Keith Coleman and Eddie van der Wulf, but at the mid-morning break after 7 special stages, the rally had been turned upside down. Chart van der Walt and Cindy Harding rolled on stage 7 and lost a minute, while Jan Habig and Doug Judd ran into more fuel rail problems and dropped 2 minutes. Habig and Judd had also mislaid their time card, and for the 2 top Sasol VW crews, the day was turning into a nightmare.
It was about halfway into the last stage, just before refuel, and we came over a crest, a slight left-hander into a slow right-hander, which was called a bit late, and there's nothing I could do to avoid it. So we fell onto the left side. Luckily, the car fell onto its wheels again from its side, and we could manage to start it and get it out the place where it was. Where we was sitting, it was sitting sort of there on a few rocks, and we lost about a minute. So I mean, for a row to lose a minute, I think we are lucky. Yeah.
A couple of local youngsters were worried about the welfare of the Ball Olivier car, while father Serge Damso had a few words of advice for son Jean-Pierre. Problems in the Sasol VW camp had now seen to it that the elder Damso and Hodgson led the rally by 19 seconds.
We've taken the lead, yes, but unfortunately, Yanni had a problem on the last stage. He lost a fuel line off again. So we've got 70 Ks of special stages, and we'll try and push it, but I'm sure maybe he can still catch us.
A second bout of fuel rail fever had dropped Habig and Judd back to 4th, but the team was confident they had now found a remedy for the bug.
Yeah, it's something new that we didn't know about, and it's now happened twice. And I suspect it's a resonance in the engine that is now causing it to loosen itself. We've now modified it, and I think the problem is now solved.
Problems were not confined to the Sasol VW camp. Etienne Lawrence and Robert Paisley decided to change the gearbox on the team total Toyota Corolla after running into a drivetrain problem. For rally service crews, this is a routine exercise, with the job completed in around 20 minutes. Tell that to your friendly dealer next time you pop in for a service. Lawrence and Paisley were now up to 2nd and trailed Damso and Hodgson by 19 seconds, with the gearbox change merely a precaution.
When we got to the service point, we changed the side shaft, let it run again, but the noise was still there, so now we changed the gearbox just to make 100% sure the drivetrain is all right.
But that is my grandson. That is actually the manager of the team. He takes care and watches to make sure that my service team do the job properly. He's actually my right-hand man on this event.
Well, there you have it. Grandpa Keith Coleman has his right-hand man, while helping look after the VW Golf of Robin and David Goodman was blind mechanic Morne Swanepoel.
Okay, those notches have to line up with the ball. With the hole in the shaft.
They've invited me to come and help them service, and I'm enjoying myself thoroughly. I'm a bit of a handyman myself, and this gives me the opportunity to work in a team, and I enjoy it thoroughly.
Over the last 4 special stages, the chase was on for Jan Habig and Douglas Judd. Victory was essential for the pair if they were to keep alive championship hopes, and they had around 70 kilometres in which to make up 75 seconds on Serge Damso and Guy Hodgson. Racecam action is from the Sasol Golf, and just look at those sheer drops, with co-driver Judd calmly calling out instructions from his pace notes.
Medium right into easy left 50.
Much to the surprise of many rally pundits, Serge Damso and Guy Hodgson have already won twice this year in the Class A6 Toyota Corolla. With Habig and Judd on a charge, the dealer team Toyota crew were under a little pressure and were further hampered by an engine misfire. For all that, 2nd place on the mountain trial would be enough to give them the outright lead in the championship, and the pair were driving as much for a win as for a safe finish. Behind them, there were more problems for the unfortunate Etienne Lawrence and Robert Paisley, with a broken control arm slowing the progress of the team total Toyota pair, who was soon overhauled by both Habig and Judd and Chart van der Walt and Cindy Harding. JP Damso and Johan Claassen were third in Class A6 and sixth overall, with the team total pair having to fight off the attentions of the steady Barry Hrobler and Mike Burrows in another of the Sasol VW Golfs. The experienced Tony Ball and Marty Olivier now led Class A7 in the Bulwer Park VW Golf and had gradually worked their way into the top 10. Ball and Olivier took over the Class A7 lead after early pace setters Johnny Gemmell and Errol Finnis went off the road on stage 7 and lost 12 minutes. It was lack of experience that probably led to the downfall of Gemmell and Finnis, who were bravely trying to fight back before finally expiring on the final special stage when the Nissan Sentra's gearbox gave up the ghost. KwaZulu-Natal crew Chris de Wit and Shane Saville were soldiering along in an aging Toyota Conquest. Although the pair were way down the Class A6 pecking order, they were ahead of a clutch of Class A7 cars. Among those trailing the Conquest were Keith Coleman and Eddie van der Walt in the Sasol VW Golf, with the pair slap in the middle of a 5-car battle that was going on for the minor placings in Class A7. Magnificent Eastern Cape scenery and some of the best rally country in the world, with another KwaZulu-Natal crew in Craig Trott and Gerard Bezuidenhout going well in the team total Toyota Conquest. They were resisting a late challenge from Chris de Wit and Shane Saville, with the two Toyota crews holding a slight advantage over Robin and Dave Goodman, who had moved into second place in Class A7 in the VW Golf. At the front of the field, Jan Habig and Douglas Judd had all but worked off the deficit, and then came another scare when the middle section of the tread on the right front tyre blew off and took with it the right front fender. Habig and Judd arrived in Aliwal North for the final special stage with a slight buffer over Serge Damso and Guy Hodgson. Over stages 9 and 10, the dealer team having dropped more precious time.
We had a deficit of a minute with about 70 or 80 k's to go, so our task was a second a kilometre. And we were fortunate in Clan, we took quite a bit of time, and the second last stage as well, so we've got a small buffer at this stage, and we've just got to go carefully in the last 8 or 9 k's.
21 seconds to make?
No, not really. Not on 7, 8 k's. We just had a problem with misfire for the last 2 long stages. I just lost quite a lot of time there. But anyway, second's better than nothing.
The mountain trial last year saw Jan Habig and Douglas Judd eventually finish 6 seconds ahead of Serge Damso and Guy Hodgson, with the pair going on to clinch a second successive South African championship. This year, the pair stretched the final gap to 10 seconds, but Damso and Hodgson go to the top of the championship log. Over the last couple of seasons, Hannes Hrobler has made a habit of putting a Group N car into the top 5 on national rallies. Hrobler did it again, and along with Brian Duncan, the total Bridgestone Nissan pair romped away with both the Group N honours and Class N3. Tony Ball and Marty Olivier wrapped up Class A7, and there was a final flurry of activity when Jean-Pierre Damso and Johan Claassen managed to hold off Barry Hrobler and Mike Burrows to take 6th overall. Down in Class N1, the brothers Houghton, Mike and Robin. Upstage, Rodney Fasaki and Carolyn Swan, while on the podium, Jan Habig and Doug Judd were celebrating in traditional style with their hopes of a 3rd successive championship still alive.
Yeah, it's been quite an eventful, we had the problem with the fuel, and then a fire, and then we ran out of fuel because of another fuel leak, and then we had a problem with the tyre going flat because it was overheating. So yeah, I think we're quite fortunate to be here, and we're very happy with the result.
The bubbly also flowed for Hannes Hrobler and Brian Duncan, with the pair now level with Dean Saunders and Graham Hooper in the Group N Championship.
We're very glad. It was a tough day. All the other Group N guys gave us a hard chase, especially this morning, and the last 3 stages was just a few seconds in between us and JP Damso, and we managed to get ahead of him on the second last stage, and we stayed there to the end, so we're very, very glad on our position.
Final results on the 2000 mountain trial, with the stage now set for an interesting finale to the season over the remaining 2 events.